CEO, family member of the prestigious company Stavis. Hi, Richard.
Hey, how are you, Jeffrey?
Good, thanks. You weren't ready for that opening. Richard, we have the big seafood show, biggest in the country, or I guess in the continent, starting on Sunday. And you were nice enough to come in and start to talk to us today.
No, absolutely. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with you. Whenever I have the opportunity to be here, I'm always thrilled.
Good. Why don't you, I know you have a couple of topics. Why don't you let our listeners in on what you want us to know today?
Well, I mean, actually, I wish this was a call-in show because I'd love to hear what they want to know. But, seafood is an exciting and vibrant industry, and it's always on the move. There are things that are changing. The nice thing about this show is that it's almost like Fashion Week in New York. It's the preview of what's to come. And even if you don't go to Fashion Week in New York, you're going to be wearing styles that are inspired by what happens during that week. So similarly, this is the week where a lot of the things that you're going to be experiencing, that you're going to be having on your table in the next year to 2 years, these things are going to be debuted or discussed. And some of the important topics that are on people's tongues, such as sustainability, traceability, seafood safety, all these things are going to be things which are going to be discussed.
Quality standards, because I assume there's been so many articles this year around quality, so I assume the press will be in the show also.
A lot of the press has been more about identity than quality.
Right.
So absolutely, that's going to be a hot button topic, and there's 30 little secrets behind why it's a hot button topic too. But I'm not so sure we're going to go that far down that path today. We'll see. We'll see where you take me.
Okay. Well, I want to go into some of those things because, again, I don't have to ask you a lot of questions because you really are the authority. But again, if I were going to the seafood show, what trends would I be seeing down the runway, do you think?
Well, I mean, when you're going to the seafood show, it's working on a lot of different levels at the same time. First of all, it's almost like like a bazaar in the middle of an old city, and that you got people at booths going down every aisle, hucking their products and offering you a sample of this fried food or that fried food, and that's part of what I would call the retail side of it. And when you go there, you're going to see some of the value-added products, some of the things you might see in your supermarket on display in the show. So that's one of the things that you would see. You'd also see the great diversity of producers, of exporters, of importers of seafood. You have companies from probably about 50 different countries displaying. Either producers, typically there's a pavilion of producers from Korea or from China or from Japan or from Canada. So you've got everybody there in terms of the people who are pulling the fish out of the water and who are putting it in a box and sending it over. So that's one part of it. If you were to go to the periphery of the show, what you would see are all of the manufacturers of the equipment that allow people to create differentiated products. Modified atmosphere packaging, which lets you have a longer shelf life. Different ways of putting your product into trays so that you can microwave it. There's a lot of things, a lot of the innovation in packaging that is going to change your experience in terms of seafood are happening around the periphery of the show. So that's another thing that happens. When you go upstairs, there are a number of seminars that are going to be run, and they run the gamut. Some of them are focused on food service, some are focused on retail. There are seminars that are focused on sustainability, seminars that are focused on import issues. Some of them are focused on, again, like you said, identity. There's a lot of things that are going to be mentioned there. And as a matter of fact, this is going to be a fun year for us. About every second or every third year, we actually run. We select a topic, we bring in the panelists, and we moderate a panel on a topic. And this year, one of those seminars that we're going to be having is one that we're going to be running. We're calling it values-based sourcing. Because there's a trend in this industry, I call it the Walmartization of the seafood industry, a trend to go towards the lowest price, the cheapest price that you can find. But the people who are legitimate in the industry, price isn't always the first thing that they use to decide whether they're going to buy this fish over that. And those other things, whether it has to do with quality, whether it has to do with integrity, whether it has to do with sustainability, or whatever it is that makes a buyer decide that's the one I want to go with, that's the one I want to do. That's what that seminar is about, and it's going to be really a fun seminar. It's going to be enlightening because, as I say, it's just there's too many people who do what I call spreadsheet buying. They just speak to 5 people, get the prices, and go with the cheapest price. And you can do a lot more if you understand why you want to go with the partners you go with.
But I think consumers